Yeah.
So, okay, welcome everybody to this Lunch and Learn about stress, right? Because we don't need it. So, how to get the most out of this? Get rid of your distractions, put your phone aside for a little while. If possible, put your camera on, mute on, be open-minded. Maybe you will hear some things today that you've never heard before, so be open-minded. You can ask questions afterwards. There will be a Q&A. So if you have questions, you can maybe write them down or make sure you ask them afterwards. So just do the presentation, which will be around half an hour, and then you have any kind of, then you can ask me any questions you want. And be present. Now, what I mean with be present is the following. So what I want you to do is just sit on your chair or wherever you're sitting, close your eyes, put your feet on the ground, just breathe in, breathe out a few times, and then feel your feet. Whether they are in your shoes or maybe your bare feet or in socks, doesn't matter. And try to feel your toes. And if you can't feel your toes, then just wiggle them a little bit. Once you start wiggle them, you will feel them and you will realize, oh, I have toes. You didn't realize that at the moment we were talking about this. Okay, this is all it needs to be present. Now you're really present here with me. Thank you for this. So what's up today? First, I will tell you a little bit about myself, who I am, then a little bit about stress. That's, of course, why you're here. And then I will show you a simple and sustainable solution and much more what you can do about your stress. Then what can be next for you, but don't worry, you can't buy anything here in this webinar, so I'm not selling anything. And then there is a Q&A. So how do we eliminate stress now and forever? Let me talk about myself real brief. I am Eddie Smits, a TEDx speaker. I'm an author. I'm a licensed NLP practitioner, a certified management drives trainer, a CBT coach, a certified mindset coach, a life coach. I have also a bachelor in pedagogy. That was a long time ago, but I have it. And I was a professional artist for 25 years. I was a clown, to be more exact. And now I am a mental fitness coach. Now, during my clown career, I was also 10 years a hospital clown. And during that period, I visited more than 10,000 sick and palliative children as a hospital clown. And that was the period I really started seeing what a mind can do with people, how strong a mind can be, what you can do with it. Because in the last years I was doing this work, I did a lot of palliative kids, and they had sometimes literally a few days to live. And then it's, you know, then you have to have another attitude. You have to have another mentality. Your mindset has to be straight to be able to do this work. And that led me to writing a book. And that was also the start of my personal development. The book was about, okay, if you can do this work, if you can really be with these children, if you can support their parents, do this hospital work, show a lot of leadership, what can you do with this attitude and this mindset in real life? Because, okay, we did it in hospitals, but can you do something in real life with that? And you can actually, there's so much to do with it. And that was what the book was about. And that was also my start in personal development. That I started to be interested in all these personal development trainers like Tony Robbins and stuff. I started to read books. And I've been doing that since now. And that's already more than 10 years ago now. So why stress? Why would you say, okay, but what are you doing with stress then? Well, it is because it's something everyone on these planets deals with. If you are rich, poor, old, young, whatever, stress is something you, at some point, you will have to deal with, or not, of course, but it is something that influences your life and that can really ruin your life, actually. So I think it's a very something very important. Now, what's the autonomy of stress? Well, actually, it's just our brain lying to us. And I will tell you more about that. And our focus is not in the present. We stress about things that are in the past, that are gone, what we had, what our experience were. We sometimes stress about it and think, oh no, if that's going to happen again, and so on. And we also stress about the future. thinking, oh no, we have to do this and this, or we still have to do this, or we are thinking in our future, and that's what stresses us. But the moment we can put our focus in the now, in where we are now, then we don't stress anymore. So that's really important, that we are living now, we take our decisions now. So everything that is the next steps in our lives happens now at this moment. So it's no use to get stressed about the past or even about the future. And it is still our survivor brain, and most people know this as a reptile brain, that is causing this stress, which is really funny because the reptile brain is something that protected us years ago, and when people then saw a bush, the leaves a little bit moving, they started running because it could be a wild animal and something that could kill them, actually. And that was what a survival brain did and still does. And that is still what causes stress nowadays. And I will also go more into that later, so you really see what's going on there. Now, the question for you is, and I'm pausing this for 3 seconds and just formulate the answer in your brain, or in your head, sorry. Is stress bad for you? Well, that's the question. Now, whatever is in your head now, I always say, if you put your hand on a hot stove, on a hot plate, you will immediately release your hands. So reptile brain, it protects us. Now with stress, something really strange is going on. With stress, what we do when we feel stress, we keep our hands on the hot plate, which is really bizarre, because normally our reptile brain would say, oh, we have stress, there's something going on. But with stress, another thing is happening. We keep the stress, we build even the stress up. So it is the equivalent. Why do we keep our hand on this hot plate? Which is funny. Another thing around stress is, it is at this point the #1 negative emotion with people. So is it bad? Yes and no. Of course it's bad if it's built, but it's good in that way that when you feel stress, it's always an alert. It is alerting something, hey, something is going on. And the moment we react, we can deal with it, but if we don't react, stress will build up and will lead to burnouts, will lead to all these things that we don't want. Another really big lie that is still going on, especially with entrepreneurs and people who run businesses, is that they need stress. I hear so often, yeah, Eddie, but I need the stress to perform. I need it to perform. If I don't have stress, I can't perform. This is one of the hardest limiting beliefs there are to deal with and to replace with something else. And it is a big lie. And that's why I put this little video here behind. You see the bottom swimmer swimming really at ease in flow. You see him swimming. And the one on top, he is crawling and he is splashing water, and he can barely keep up with the one in the bottom. So who do you think who will be exhausted after a few laps, right? And that's exactly what's going on here. The more stress you have, the more it impacts your life. So the biggest lies is I need this stress to perform, and it's really the contrary that is the truth. Now, we don't want to let stress rule our lives, because this is just, and I'm going over this quickly. Some of you know it, some don't, but it doesn't matter. These are the things that by research has been done, that stress has an impact on our body, on our mood, and also on our behavior. On our body, like headaches, pain in the back, pain in the neck. On our mood is anxiety. On our behavior, overeating, undereating, etc. And I can go on. I can read them all. I'm not going to do that now. We're not going into that. But it's just to show you which devastating effect stress can have, not only on our lives, but even on our body, right? So we really want to do something about it. So in summary, stress has a negative effect on our performance, on our relationships, that is business-wise and personal, but so actually on our overall well-being. So the thing I have in mind then is why so less people are doing something about the stress. Why are they keeping their hands on the hot stove? But that's mostly because they don't know what to do about it. But I've got 2 times good news for you. Yeah, 2 times. Because there's only one person that is responsible for your stress. And you know who it is, right? It's you. So that's good news, because when you are responsible for your stress, you can also do something about it, right? That's the good news. So the question is, how do you eliminate it? Now, here are a few things that work. You can do sports, you can do yoga, you can do mindfulness, you can meditate, you can go to a spa, you can go on a holiday, and all these things work, but they all have a problem. Doing sports is mostly, you feel stress, you say, oh, I'm going to do some sports to release stress. If you do yoga, mindfulness, or meditate, then you get yourself in the now, but it's really not interesting when you are in a meeting, right? And you get stressed because people are saying things that are not really supposed to be said, or it's not going your way. You can't say, oh, no, I have to meditate now. I'm going to put on some candles and some music. So you can't do that. So for these things, actually, these things are useless when you are in a meeting or in a car and in traffic. So the stress builds up. It's only to get you in that moment when you have the right circumstances. Going to the spa is something that is really good for your stress. So you go to the spa, you leave your cell phone in a closet, but because in most spas, you can't bring your cell phone in. You come out of the spa in your car, you put on your cell phone, and with the first call or the first message you get, the stress, poof, is back. And that's the same with going on holiday. So people who say, I really need a holiday now, I'm so stressed. Well, it's too late, because then you just put the pause button, what means that when you get back out of your holiday, the stress will come back like this. It will be back immediately. So we have to do something else to eliminate this stress. And it has to be simple and sustainable. If it's not simple, then we won't do it after a while. If it's too complicated, we won't take the time to learn it. But after a while, we won't do it anymore if it's not simple enough. And it has to be sustainable. And that is the problem with a lot of things we learn with stress. They work for a little while, and then they are gone. It's the same with a motivational speech, right? If you go to these motivational speech, you're really fired up, and you jump on tables and you say, okay, now I'm going to change the world. And after a day, you're going to change the half world. And after a week, it's only a country. And after 2 weeks, it's gone. It's like a hot bath that you take. If you don't pour water with it, hot water with it regularly, the water is going to get cold, and it's not nice anymore. It's the same. So it has to be sustainable. So it has to be something that you learn and that you have for the rest of your life. Like, it's exactly like riding a bike. To learn you have to learn it once, and then you can do it for the rest of your life. Now, what is that? Well, that is positive intelligence. Now, if you put it in one sentence, positive intelligence is your capacity to respond to life challenges with a positive rather than a negative mindset. I'll read that again. A capacity to respond to life challenges with a positive rather than a negative mindset. Now, why did I become so interested in positive intelligence? I've been doing this for 10 years, and the last year of working with positive intelligence, it's this. Because that's exactly what I did as a clown in hospitals. As a clown, you take this negative thing that children are in a hospital, and you give it another perspective. Give you a simple example. When children had chemo, they lost their hair. So the joke was there, hey, now you don't need gel, you don't need shampoo. You don't have to go to the barber to get a haircut. So it seems simple, and it is simple, but it gave another perspective to the illness. And with another perspective comes other possibilities. You're going to see things in another way. And often is this the beginning to some kind of healing process. So you need to see the things in another perspective, in a simple way. But hey, you don't need to believe me, a clown, right? So what is positive intelligence? It is a combination of positive psychology, performance science, neuroscience, and cognitive behavioral psychology. Sorry, that is positive intelligence. So there is a real science behind it now. What I've been saying for 10 years is now supported by science. And the person who did all the research is Shahzad Shamin, who is from Iran, but lives in the States now and is a Stanford professor, and did all this research with hundreds of CEOs and their teams, with students, with world-class athletes, with more than 500 participants in 50 countries. And that's why he also wrote a book about that, Positive Intelligence, which is already translated in 20 languages. So it has really this scientific base that I was looking for to teach people 10 years actually. And what I know for 10 years is now really science. Now, we had simple and we have sustainability, right? Sustainable. Now, why is it so simple? Well, it is simple because it is based on the power of factor analysis. What is factor analysis? And we all know that without knowing, we know what factor analysis is. Now, first of all, it discovers the root cause. So it's not the aspirin you take for your headache. No, it's seeing what causes your headache, right? And that results in radical simplification. To give you an example, you all know you only need 3 colors to make all the colors in the world. If you have these 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow, you can make literally 10,000 of colors. And that's also with positive intelligence. You have this, you can go anywhere. You can use it in your life, in your business, in your relationship, for your children and parenting. So you can go all the ways with once you have this mindset. Now, why is it sustainable? Well, because it is really a new operating system that is given to you. That means that you are going to learn to think in a different way. And that's what's wrong with, not wrong, what's different with all the other things you can do is that nothing is changing in your head, right? Yeah, you have the insights, or you go sport, or you go do this, but nothing really changes in your way of thinking. And that is literally what positive intelligence does. And as you know, the moment you've all know it on your computer or on your phone, the moment you have a new operating system, everything works faster, you have more things that you can do. So that's literally what's going on here. And how does it do? But I'm going to tell you more about this. It's really a daily practice, which will only take you 15 minutes. And I repeat, it's only 15 minutes. And at some point, you will have it like learning a bike. Now, what is the root cause? I've told you about, you first need to read the root cause. The root cause are your saboteurs. Now, what do I mean with saboteurs? And this part is a little bit more technical and maybe a little bit dull, but stay with me here. The main cause we get stressed is that we self-judge, right? We self-judge, we think, oh, we are not good enough, or we can't do this. That's the main cause. So our judge is the main cause. There's a self-judge. We judge others. Yeah, sure, he can do that. He got money from his parents. Yeah, sure, he can do that. He got help from his brother, or whatever. So we judge ourselves, we judge others, but we also judge circumstances. And COVID is really a nice example of it. So many people say, yeah, everything is COVID now, nothing works anymore, my business has gone. And COVID is the cause of everything. So we judge, and you can think about it later or now. We are judging constantly. So if we can eliminate that, that will cause our stress to decrease very soon. The other saboteurs are controller, hyperachiever, restless, stickler, pleaser, hypervigilant, avoider, victim, and hyperrational. So you have 10 saboteurs. Sounds like a lot, but it's not important to know exactly which one you have. It's important to know that these things will cause you stress. And now, of course, the logic question is, okay, we have these saboteurs, so how do we How do we control them? How do we fight them? let's use the word fight. Well, there are 5 sage powers. So you have 10 saboteurs and 5 sage powers. That's it. When you know that, you know everything. I mean, you know what to do, of course. Now, what are saboteurs? They motivate you through negative emotions. So your sage power is going to motivate through your positive emotions. Negative emotions like fear, stress, anger, guilt, shame, insecurity. You have the sage powers, which are empathy, curiosity, creativity, passion, and purpose. So what I also hear a lot is, yeah, but you know, I am a hyperachiever, and that is what gives me my success. I'm hearing that every day. That is true. It will give you success, but it will never give you happiness. It will never give you fulfillment, and that, in the long run, will still give you stress, and there will still be restlessness in your mind. So, however good you perform, or however these saboteurs are helping you, at some point they will go against you. While if you use your sage power, you will generate success and get happiness. Think about the swimmers again, right? It's the same comparison. Now, here we go, right? Are we surviving or are we thriving? Are we using our reptile brain or the other one? And now the other little creature that's there, that's a cockroach. I didn't want to do a picture of a real one because I think they are filthy animals, but they are at this planet already for 300 million years. I'm going to repeat that, 300 million years. Why is that? Because they only have a reptile brain. And I hope you don't come in contact much with cockroaches, but if you do, then you know that whatever they hear, see, feel, or there's light, they run away immediately. They don't see what's going on here. No. They start running. And that's why they have survived that long. But the question is, do we want that? I don't think we want that. So we want to thrive and not survive. So in short, we have to learn to control this voice in our head. Remember this one with the 2 shoulders, one figure on one shoulder, one figure on the other? That's exactly what's going on. And that's exactly what's going on in your head now too. You're thinking now, what is this now? Is this Eddie? What is he saying? Is that true what he's saying? And the other one say, yeah, let's listen this out. Let's stay a little bit longer. Maybe there's some truth in it. We are constantly fighting this battle in our head, constantly. And the moment we win this battle, that's the moment when we thrive. So when you catch the saboteur, you control the saboteur. Seems too simple to be true, right? So does it work? Yeah, of course it works. And it's very powerful. So once you get to know this saboteur, you learn to control them, then you can turn every challenge into a gift. You can improve your performance, improve your relationships, you eliminate your stress immediately, and you improve your overall well-being. That's all it takes. The switch between your reptile brain and the other part, the right brain. Now, the logical questions are, so how do I find these saboteurs then? How do I know which saboteurs are constantly holding me back from things and sabotage me? That's why they call saboteurs, and giving me this stress. Well, there's a simple test for it, and I will tell you later about it, how you can do it and how it works. There's a simple test that you can figure out, okay, which are my saboteurs, and if you see the top 3 of your own saboteurs, that's the first thing you need to know to know how to catch them, of course. You have to know your enemy before you can defeat him, right? Now, when you know that, then you've done 20% of the work. And that's why also other things don't work, is because we read a book, we go to a seminar, and we say, hey, that's how it works. Nah, now I know how it works. But in fact, you're not building mental muscle. It's the same that as you say, okay, I need to get a little bit more muscled. So what do I do? Yeah, I have to go to the gym. Right, that's what I need to do. Okay, that's the inside. But then when you go to the gym, right, and you want to lift like 50 kilograms with one hand, that's impossible the first time. So you have to start with 5, 10, and build up. And that's the mental muscle you must build. So that's another thing. People nowadays, they want to get stressed. They want to get rid of their stress like this. They want to click a button and the stress is gone. It doesn't work like that. You have to give it time. You have to work on it. And you have to really, this operating system, you have to install it. And you have to give it a little bit time to install. And that's what we do with the app. The app makes sure that each time you do 15 minutes of exercises, and it doesn't, maybe you say maybe now it's again, 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes every day. And the other one says, yeah, 15 minutes, and that's so long, right? They're doing it again right now. But it's just 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the on noon, and 5 minutes in the evening. And why is that? Because we really have to reprogram our brain. We really have to make sure that our reptile brain doesn't rule you. And to do that, that takes practice. And that's something people don't like to do, right? We want a solution now. So what is next? Well, if you say, yeah, this could be interesting, well, then I suggest that we have a 50-minute virtual coffee. What we will do during that 15 minutes is I'm going to tell you how you can find these saboteurs, and once you have that, then again, we'll have a talk and we'll see what you can do with that. So again, there's no sale here. I'm not selling anything. I never sell anything, by the way. But this gives you an opportunity to get the insight, right? But again, that's the 20%. But that's actually what I'm just giving you is the insights. The rest is up to you if you do it or not, of course, if you go further. I'll put the link in the chat so that you can book this call. Okay. Any questions? Let me put these. Okay. All right. Any questions for now? I know it's fast, but yeah. We are just a few people, so if you have a question, you can just unmute yourself and ask it.
I didn't have any question. I just thought it was interesting when you started talking about positive intelligence. I actually have his book on my desk now, and I've been reading it.
You're reading it, yeah.
I've been reading the positive intelligence book. So I mean, not everybody would know this, but I think you know this. That I'm a coach. I'm a coach in my own practice, and it's something that, like you said, it's almost like something that you've known. Well, if you do this kind of work, like you've known all along.
That's it.
But now you actually see that it's it's backed with scientific research, and it's very exciting to actually read through
That's a 20%. That's a 20%. That's a 20% that all coaches have, because then you know how it works and you know what you need to do. But the thing is, how do you do it, and how do you reprogram that? And that takes work. That just takes work. And people who want to do the work, at some point you will see it's so simple that you say, why didn't I do this before? And it's so simple that if you feel stress, within seconds it's gone, right? Because you need to you learn to catch it. In my one of my top saboteurs, right, is the controller. So that means that I want to have control over everything. But what happens now is when this negative emotion comes up, I immediately catch it, and that's the work you do with the app. And you say, whoa, you listen to the right one here on your shoulder. Because when you keep letting these saboteurs control you and rule you, you're never going to be clear-headed, and your head will always be spinning. So you need really to go from the reptile brain to the other side. And that's something you only can do by literally reprogram it. Yeah.
Right.
Some other questions, maybe?
No, I just remember attending one seminar before that was BSI. I think that rooted from California back then. And I got one topic that you started back in stress being in the future and not being in the now.
Yeah,
Uh, the seminar was more self-love than
yeah,
self-awareness, but
yeah,
this session pretty much made it more detail in terms of of of, of being in the now instead of being in the
yeah,
tomorrow or in the past.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, but that's just the thing. We all know what to do, but then we have to build this muscle, and that's where actually everyone goes wrong there. We don't do the muscle work. We have the insight, but we don't know how to switch, and we really don't know how. And that's why I also say to people, it takes some time. It's not You're not going to get out of this in 3 days. The initial work, I work mostly half a year with the people that I work with, and the initial work just to do the operating system is 6 to 7 weeks. The brain needs that time. You have been thinking all your life like you're thinking now, so you have to rethink things, and it's not going to be like that. But once again, but it's not hard, it's simple, and you get these exercises through the app. It's really simple, you just do them. It's 5 minutes, that's it, divided in three in a day, and once you have it, then you can start working. But then you have a foundation you build on, and that's also why, for example, people they have a coach. All goes well. The coaches help them very well, and then when the coaching sessions are over, when the period is over, it goes well for the next weeks, and then at some point they lose it again. And that's what positive intelligence is all about. You don't lose it again, because it's sustainable. Now you have learned to work with it, and to let this, and really it's a self-command tool you have. You learn to self-command your brain, and it's really powerful. It is really powerful.
yeah.
So if there are people who want to book the call, I've put the link in the chat. You can click it. If not, you will stay my friend. Yeah, and any other questions you guys want to ask? No? Okay, no problem. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have learned something. I also hope that you're going to do something with it. That doesn't mean you need to do the call, but think about it and contemplate about it. And if you take one thing away from this, is that stress is really, really, really doable to handle. Don't let it rule your life. With a few simple things, you can really lead another life. That's, if you take one thing away, to know this, it's already something, and then you can look away. Then you can find a way to do it, or if it's not with me, it's with somebody else, or whatever you do. But don't let stress rule your life. Okay, guys, thank you very much for being here. If there's something else, you can always contact me. I think you have this through LinkedIn, so we are connected. Or what else? Just contact me, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Eddie.